Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm your host, Michelle McLean, for Top Industry Professionals in the International Radio Podcast, where we showcase prestigious top professionals from all industries around the globe to share their experiences and stories of passion, perseverance, resilience, and success. We are so honored to have with us today a very special couple on the show, joining us from Port St. Lucie, Florida. They are leaders and heroes in the emergency services industry, and the nonprofit that they built saves thousands of lives. The special couple have won numerous awards and have been recognized globally for the amazing work they are doing, helping thousands of families, preventing their loved ones from wandering. Everyone, please welcome our inspirational couple and founders of top global nonprofit of the year, Project Lifesaver, Chief Gene Saunders and his lovely wife, Jean Saunders. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you.
It's so good to see you guys too. Welcome back to the show, Jean. But Jean, you are the first time here, and it's the first time I've been interviewing a couple. And but lovely that I get to see you, because I have got to know you from the many events we've joined and been at. And I've been so inspired by your work. So I'm very grateful to be chatting to you today. So the first question, the pair of you have been a force to be reckoned with. You're indeed an inspiration in the emergency services industry. Please tell our listeners how you first, both of you, met and the background of how Project Saver came about.
You want to start?
Go ahead, Jean.
Well, we have mutual friends that introduced us. I had probably 10 of us that used to always go different places together, male and females. We were all just friends. And we all went somewhere one night, and it was the first time he had ever been there. And I'm like, are you invading us? But anyway, he was friends with the other half, and we just started talking. And probably about a month later, we went out. Yeah. He kept asking me to go out, and I wouldn't go out.
Were you playing hard to get, were you?
The funny part, Michelle, is that I was actually with a date when I went into this place.
Say that.
Oh, I'll say it. I was with another date, and unfortunately, she caught my eye and my attention. And of course, the rest of the evening with the other date was not very pleasant. But anyway, everything worked out.
I actually sat next to you, and we started talking because we had mutual friends.
Yeah.
So we were talking, and finally I said to him, probably after 30 minutes or more, I'm like, I think you need to talk to your date.
I guess I just wasn't interested in my date.
Well, you can't stop true love. That's just like a steam train. It'll just come straight through. But then when you guys met, how long after that did you start Project Lifesaver?
Oh, well, we met and we got married in 76.
Met in 75.
It was 1999 before we started Project Lifesaver.
Okay.
I was still on the police department. I was a sergeant when we met.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with the police department, finally retiring in 2001 as a captain. But I started Project Lifesaver 2 years before I retired from the PD. So that's how all that came about. And
so the burning question is, I mean, you have done this for so many years. You've given peace of mind to so many families. Tell us, how did you, what have your inspirations been in doing the work that you do? And maybe just share some of the challenges.
Well, I guess I'll start that one, honey.
Well, I can help you. One of the inspiration, he's always liked to help people. And I guess that's the reason he became a police officer. I mean, that was just in him to help people. Go ahead.
Well, I had been when I had the SWAT team, we were tasked also with search and rescue. Well, that changed over to the sheriff's office, and I was asked to go with it as a volunteer. So I did, and we were still doing it. And I noticed that a lot of our searches were for Alzheimer's patients.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, well, apparently we're not doing this right because we're not finding them in time. So I guess, it's just the idea of, and when you locate somebody like that and they're safe and you bring them back home,
Yeah.
you can't replace that feeling you get when the family is so relieved.
Mm.
Feel like I had some part of that. I feel really good. Um, it's very hard to describe, Michelle, but I think if you talk to any first responder, if they feel or they bring somebody home and they feel like they've had a part in saving a life or reuniting a family, it's a special kind of feeling you get. Of all the things I ever did with say the SWAT team, hostage situations, all that, this was okay. It was self-satisfying, very self-satisfying. I guess it filled a void that I had that said, this is what you need to do. Go do it. So I did.
But it's also wonderful that a couple can get to do something together that they're both inspired by and that drives them both. What else do you think you would have done as a couple differently if you didn't start Project Lifesaver?
I was actually interviewing for chiefs of police jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Forgot.
I was like Avis Rent-A-Car. I always came in second. And in one of them, I was actually told that I was overqualified. And I didn't understand that, but that's the way it came out. So this came along at a time when I was ready to leave police work as far as the department I was with, and I was looking for something, and all of a sudden, this. Listen, I'm not a real religious person, but do I believe God intervened here somewhere? Yeah, I do.
uh-huh.
Really do.
Well, you always feel that way when you find that special partner as well. It's like there's some stars have aligned. There's some force out there that makes that work. Do you
Well,
still
it was good that I met her because she's kind of kept me in line for a long time.
She's always very quiet and serene and beautiful, but I'm sure you're feisty, Jean. So
I can be.
Well, you know what they say about dynamite. Comes in small packages.
oh yes.
He likes to talk, so I let him do the talking. I'm fine. I'm just quiet, little shy until I get to really know people.
Uh-huh.
And then I get more
Then you
talkative.
really open
Yeah.
up. Yep.
Talking about being shy and then getting to know people, Jean, not Chief, but Jean, you've spent many years going to the IAOTP galas and events. What is the most exciting part of the IAOTP for you?
Meeting the people and listening to them talk, the stories, like your story. I mean, it's seeing where people come from. I really like hearing all these stories because everybody comes from different countries. Most of the people come from different countries, and that's the part I like.
And so, Jean, Chief, I was just thinking, do you ever keep in touch with the families and the people that you've helped?
Some, now that I have, when I was actually doing the searching, which was about the first 6 years of the program, yes, because I would see them. I would go and change batteries in their wristbands. So yeah, we had very close touch with them and knew them very, very well. But all of a sudden, it got to be too much to try to handle it the way it was expanding and going all over the country, and doing that as well. So I had to make a choice. Now, every once in a while, I'll run across one of the families through an email or a text or something, and
they'll write you a letter.
or they'll write me a letter. So not as much as I used to or would like to. But I tell you, one of the great things about the program, and it was not planned out this way, it just worked this way, is that these first responders are dealing with these families and these caregivers and the people that they're protecting often face to face. And they become a resource to them. It's almost like the first responder that comes to your house and changes the battery and the band and so forth and talks to you, and they become an outside link or a link to the outside when there's a problem. And it's very surprising. And I think first responders that get involved get this feeling of, I'm really doing something that makes a difference. I'm here to help the community, and this is something I'm really doing that.
I hear you talk about changing the batteries. What does this piece of equipment, wristband, look like? I've never seen.
I wish I had thought to bring one in here, but it's about the size of that watch.
Uh-huh.
And it's a hard plastic molded case, and inside it has a transmitter, radio transmitter, and that transmitter is powered by a battery. Now, that transmitter lasts for 60 days before that battery has to be changed, and it's transmitting all the time. Now, we don't get the signal from that transmitter unless we're called in to do the search. We don't monitor it. So it's not like some people say, well, it's like Big Brother's watching. Oh, no, we're not. We're not. We don't come in and tune into that particular transmitter unless you're missing.
Okay. So that's a very interesting concept, though. Have you ever considered, or has anyone ever approached you to maybe do this for children? To put them on children, especially when you go to Disneyland or something like that.
Actually, we work with the theme parks through their sheriff's offices. There's 2 sheriff's offices, both of them the theme parks are in, and those sheriff's offices cover those theme parks. And even if you're not in a Project Lifesaver agency area, you can get a transmitter from us if you have a special needs child or person while you're there.
Oh, brilliant.
The sheriff's office can respond to you or to a missing person incident within the park.
Wow.
And
No,
then
that's
track that signal.
tremendous. I'm surprised this hasn't gone global. Have you gone international, Gene?
Well, we're all over Canada
Okay.
and Puerto Rico. One of the problems we have, Michelle, is just the frequency allocations.
Oh.
Each government allocates their radio frequencies as to who can use what.
Oh.
What we use in the zone that we're in, we can use it in North America, we can use it in South America, in any of those countries adjacent. Now, when you go to Europe, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, because England wanted it.
England wanted it. They wanted it really bad.
Oh.
The problem we ran into was, and I hate to say this, their government, and trying to get clearance in what frequency we could use to do this. We haven't given up. We're not going to give up. Sooner or later, we'll crack that code.
Literally.
Yeah.
But that's very inspirational indeed. And talking about inspiration, throughout both your careers, you've been so recognized on a global scale, featured on news outlets, TV shows, featured in magazines. This year, both of you will be on the famous NASDAQ billboard in Times Square, at the Planet Hollywood billboard on the Las Vegas Strip, and will be honored at IAOTP's annual awards gala at the Bellagio Hotel. And I'll be there to see you this year. I missed Nashville last year.
That's great.
Can't wait to see you.
Congratulations on all your achievements. It's really, really impressive. So for each of you, Jean, what are the highlights, do you think, of your career?
The highlights.
Or just a highlight?
Well, working with Project Lifesaver, I like the interaction with the agencies and being able to help them with whether it's a problem or just questions. So that part of it I really like. I like talking. I like it when we travel and do conferences and I meet parents of autistic children. That's some sad stories because the parents are struggling. It's not an easy job for them. And it's some of the stories I've heard is just, it'll bring tears to your eye. But then there are some that you hear good stories, like the child used to, I want to say wander, not elope. Yeah. And now they're not because they've been able to get help. You know, it's hard for them to get help and put their children in school or get grants to get help for autistic children. So I kind of enjoy those stories, and I like talking to the caregivers of people that have Alzheimer's, because I've been through that with my mom. And when I went through with mom, I had so much to look back on and just pull from to know what was happening and how to help me, because I'd listened to so many people in the conferences. So.
I'd love to know, because I'm getting to that point in my life now where myself and a lot of my friends are having to look after parents that are perhaps have dementia or going through to the Alzheimer's phase. What would your recommendation be for anyone starting this process? You know, how to, because it can be very resistant in the relationship. Like, what do you mean that there's something wrong with me? What do you mean I need to wear a band? How do you deal with that?
One thing I learned from my husband is you have to listen to them. They're going to say things that you know that's wrong. It's going to happen. Just agree with them. Oh. Just agree with them. Because if you don't, you're going to get in an argument. And I learned that the hard way. Even if you think you're being nice, saying, well, Mom, I don't think it happened that way, they will blow up at you. With my mom, I just tried to talk to her a lot. I was fortunate. My mom was only like 10 minutes away from me. I would go over there every day and check on her. We had to put her in assisted living. I'd go have lunch with her. I just spent as much time as I could. A lot of people can't do that. But, if your mother lives in another state, I would suggest, FaceTime, whatever you do to stay in contact with them. It's not an easy job.
No,
and you're good at that. I mean,
get with advocacy groups and support groups.
Yeah.
This
was my support group.
Trying to weather this by yourself will beat you down. Because and there's a book that was written a long time ago, and I would suggest anyone that's facing this, they should read it. It's called A 36-Hour Day.
Yes,
a caregiver wrote it, and it's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, it's like it's not worse than, but it's more than caring for an infant. The demands are more. It's like Jean just said. They go into real bad mood swings, and you have to deal with that. You have to know when not to try to correct them. You have to be on guard for wandering issues. And the biggest problem that most families do is they go into denial. Yeah. They will say, well, Dad is, he's a little forgetful, but, well, wait a minute. What do you mean he's a little forgetful? And they'll cite you instances. Well, he couldn't find his car keys, and later he found them in the refrigerator. Well, wait a minute. Isn't that a cue? That's when you need to reach out to support groups and advocacy groups. Get help, get the information, everything they can offer. connect with the resources that they offer. These are the kind of things that are going to help you weather this situation. Mm-hmm. Trying to just deny it and force your way along in it. If you look at it, many caregivers actually pass away before the person that has the disease. Why? Because they're exhausted. Mm-hmm. They just get to a point they can't go anymore. And you have to be on guard against that. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Don't deny anything. Research it. Right. You may be right. He may just be forgetful, but is he? That's the thing you have to look at. Mm-hmm. and be cognizant of those kind of things.
Yeah, but the denial part, we had a family member, and when she was going through it, in everything she'd tell me, I thought this is the way my mom started. And I would try to tell her different things, and it's like I remember her answer to me always was, my mom remembers what she wants to. She doesn't have a memory problem. I'm like, okay. But all you can do is help. And I remember I sent her some brochures, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful advice. And I've certainly seen it firsthand with one of my family members as well. Just those signs of, being adamant about something, and yet it's the total opposite. And then you just kind of go, well, some people say, oh, that's creative.
That was hard for me to learn, I can tell you. And sometimes I'd leave my mom and I'd cry all the way home.
Yeah, and you've got to be willing to do the hard things. Like now, my father-in-law, who had cardiovascular dementia, he was not a problem taking his driving away from him. My mother-in-law, that was a different story. She got a letter from DMV saying you can't drive anymore.
Well, that was bad because she called me up yelling at me. It was my fault. I reported her. I knew nothing about it.
Oh, no.
So I had to go over there with her that night and tell her you can't drive anymore. Now, the hardest part about that was she gave me the car keys in a heartbeat, but she would not give up the driver's license. You have to understand that one of the things that you're doing with these loved ones is now you are cutting that cord of independence.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a fight, but you've got to be willing to work with them. And like what I did was I said, okay, I called DMV and said, okay, here's the problem I have. And they said, don't worry about it. We're going to suspend her driving privileges. You've taken the car. Let her keep the driver's license.
Okay.
That worked out very well. You've got to be willing to reach out. You got to be willing to talk to other people. You're not the only one in the world that's ever been through this. And they understand, believe you. They understand.
That's wonderful advice. No, it's been incredible chatting to you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. But maybe just one last question. What do you foresee doing in the next 5 years? What are you planning?
Oh, it's a good one for you. Because it involves both of us. But
well, we're going to continue what we're doing. I want to, as we alluded to earlier, I want to see this program expand even more. I want to, and we are working on improving our equipment, making it even better and easier for our people to use. And there's a couple of things that we want to do together other than Project Lifesaver. We want to do some traveling. Mm-hmm. We went to Barcelona one time. My wife loves Barcelona, so I think we'll end up back there.
We're going to Greece.
Yeah, and I've got a bucket list thing. I'm a history buff, and I want to go to Normandy. So we're going to fight over where we're going first, but I think we'll be doing some traveling, and we're going to work with Project Lifesaver. I think this has become a big part of our lives, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of him starting it. If anybody has known him a long time, he's the type of person, he's always involved in something, always. He could be involved in 4 different things at one time. And then he was a police officer on shift work. It got to the point one time I'm like, wait a minute, I'm here. Pick two. But anyway, and I've always told him when he started Project Lifesaver, because I can tell you, he was never home. Never. I reached him by phone because he was traveling, getting the program into agencies. But this is the one thing I am the proudest that he's ever gotten involved in. I mean, it saves so many lives, and I hear so many good stories. You know, if it wasn't for Project Lifesaver, they never would have found my child or my loved one. Yeah.
Oh, that just gives me goosebumps. I mean, that is just, it must be so rewarding, so fulfilling. Gosh, Jean, you are just such an amazing, inspirational couple. Thank you for spending the time with me today, chatting. And for all our listeners out there, how do they get hold of you and hear more about Project Lifesaver?
Well, you can actually go to our website, projectlifesaver.org, and it'll give you all the information you need, our contact numbers, what we're about, what we do, how we do it. And it'll also tell you, is there an agency in your area that is doing Project Lifesaver? So I would suggest they go to that. And if they need follow-up information, feel free to call us. The number is on the website.
Wonderful. Well, thanks. And
Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us.
see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.